at the symposium here on statues and PCC. And I got an exciting guest with us. He peeks in and out every once in a while on us, Marquis, the artist himself, Hey, man, what's it been like today, man, for you?
It's been very stimulating.
Pull this mic to you. How's he doing on the mic?
I was saying it's been very stimulating today.
When you say stimulating, what you mean?
As far as like being involved in the art community, rubbing elbows with folks that are in the city that are involved in the art community as well.
Yeah.
So, because I'm mostly on the street doing my art.
Hey, man, anybody gonna hold you down?
So getting involved with the city and projects like this is just great.
Yeah.
Definitely another element that I needed to be around. Definitely.
Well, man, was there anything that you heard today or anything that made any sense when it comes to these monuments and all this project? What was your takeaway, man?
Yes. It's funny you asked that. I just had a conversation up in one of the classrooms, and I posed the thought of like, why are we so emotionally tied to monuments?
Wow.
Right?
You get a feedback.
It's not like we hang out with the monuments or
some of us might sleep underneath them,
Right, but it's not like we go and touch them and hug on them or whatever. But it's like the city gets real emotionally tied to monuments.
Yeah.
And then there's a book that I read by Hazarat. I can't think of his first name, but his last name is Hazarat. And he had this book called the Mysticism of Sound.
Oh, really?
Right. And so in that book, The Mysticism of Sound, he had a passage where he was like, we have to be careful when it comes to monuments and sculptures and art in general, because sometimes we don't know the artist's subconscious intention of what they're sculpting, because their thought and energy is emanating from that art piece, right?
Yeah.
And then the conversation transformed into like, well, that art piece, after it's emanating what it's emanating, it's static. It's just standing there.
Yeah.
So then it becomes
and
a
it's
symbol.
Repetitive, right? Repetitive, right?
And then we're all affected by symbols, some form or another.
Subliminal messaging.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's one of the reasons we get so emotionally tied to these monuments.
Yeah.
Whether you made it or not.
So when you think about you, the artist, what's your contribution, man, to this whole perspective?
Well, today they had me facilitating one of the classrooms today, which was a cool experience. I've done some speaking engagement.
Yeah.
I've never really facilitated some discussions like this before, so that was real good for me as well. Yeah, definitely.
So what you add on? I mean, do you see any solution to some of these complex topics that we were talking about?
Yeah. So I sat in on one of the discussions before I facilitated this morning, and my thought is, in order to appease a large, diverse city such as Portland, or whether you're in the Bay Area, New York, or whatever, right? We're in a unique time where we can use technology with monuments and art pieces, whether they're in the past or in the future, right? And with this technology, we have the chance to have like engraved QR codes or engraved.
You bringing that language, you know that, right? I mean, we started talking about that language, when we were down. Not to interrupt you on this, because it's kind of fascinating. And it's a double-edged sword, Marquis, because, you young cats be pushing this futuristic thought and agenda, right, on this kind of. But when we start talking about restorative justice and all that kind of stuff, man, it's kind of like, okay, that QR code and all that stuff really could set the big change behind, behind all that stuff.
Just how you guys had the augmented reality stuff with the magazine,
AR,
right?
Yeah.
So you can use the QR codes and the augmented reality to upload
on these pieces.
But we can upload different perspectives from different cultures in regards to those art pieces, right? So let's take Abraham Lincoln, for example, right? I have a perspective with Abraham Lincoln as far as the Emancipation Proclamation goes. And then another lady has a different perspective as far as Lincoln goes in slavery.
Got you.
So with today's technology, that QR code or engraving of a QR code can have an augmented reality, and we can upload different perspectives on different monuments.
And that's man, that was exactly what we were hoping to adopt down in the hab on the I-5.
Yeah.
That top. we thought that throughout the art, and I think that was a lot of conversation that went on a couple of years back where we were talking about the district signs, right? What guides you? You know, how do you interpret the art that you see around? I mean, if we make these routes, what kind of art do we put on them, and what significance? So it's been a long conversation with that. But what's great is your timing is great for you right about now with that. The artist and being. Hey man, there was a topic though that was said in there that was kind of interesting to me, and it talked a little bit about how do we. Even with what I said, when you look around the room, man, and you see the sea of a certain type of people, man, I mean, you know, how do you begin to bring that to life for us, for guys like yourself, young black or young?
Bring my art to life, or
bring your community to this environment. How does the community get more involved in this environment?
Yeah, that was an idea that came up too, because I was talking to Alex, and I was like, yo, it's not a bad idea for all these different cultural organizations that we have, whether it's NAACP, Soul District, Urban League, or if it's like the Tibetan organization, to have mandatory attendance from one or two of those artistic individuals from those cultural organizations. It should be mandatory, because then we're not saying they're missing out or we're missing out. We need to attend those. It's mandatory, so we can have our input.
All right.
From those organizations.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad idea.
No, man. I mean, I think it's important that we're able to take it back to the nest,
because you're making sure you send your representative.
There you go.
Creatively to the table. And so now we're not waiting for somebody to like, oh, I missed this meeting, or because we're always singing that same song. Well, we're not included, or da 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 da. No, like it's mandatory.
Right.
You need to go.
So tell me, bro, it's good to see you. So, so what's next for you?
Man, I'm trying to get to the All-Star game in the Bay.
That is right. I heard all about it. You might have a passenger on the way there, boy, because it's been a little while since we've been there.
I'm trying to
that was a heck of a trip the last time I was. That they had some shit down there like that. You know, it's about dating my age and shit. Yeah. But it was definitely a time when we had it down. They had to drive back. I think the car broke down. Anyway.
Yeah. But I'm trying to go down there and sell some merchandise and network.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
Keep that art going. You hear?
Definitely, yep.
Man, I like what you're doing, man. And
Likewise.
stay true. You hear?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Talk to you soon there, Mark.
Appreciate you.